Fake until you make it. Nah. That phrase was one of my favorites. Like, I loved it. I loved that phrase. Fake until you make it. I faked a whole lot of things. Like, I thought it was, I believed in it so much. Thinking that, when I fake that I am this, or I'm going to get this, maybe probably it's what I want to get or who I want to become, right? I just believe that, okay, faking it will help me to become that person, or, but that did not happen for me because I did not use the right mentality. I believe that people who actually make use of that phrase, people who use that phrase with the right mentality really benefit from it. But I did not use mine with the right mentality. So it was so bad. It was so bad for me. So instead of, mine was like fake until you mine was like fake until you do. I would not say fail, or until you don't. Well, let me just tell you a little bit about one of the things that I faked about. So years ago, when I finished secondary school, that is high school, I was to go to university, like college, right? So I wrote JAM and I got it right, but aptitude test was always the problem. I couldn't get admission. So it happened like twice. I had to write JAM twice, and I had good results for JAM, but aptitude test was always the problem. So after like 3 times, so the third year, I think my sister finished secondary school and she got admission into university like that same time. So it happened that I had to live with her, where she was living, where she was schooling. I had to live in the same house with her. So we got there, and that compound was basically for students. Like, most of the tenants in that compound were like students. So they just kind of assumed that I was a student too, but I was making use of it. Like, they thought I was a student. So they asked me, what are you studying? And I told them, okay, I was, because I believed in fake until you make it. So it was kind of like, it made me feel good. So I just told them, I'm studying biology, because that was what I always wanted to study. So said it was biology, and I was, I was living like that with them. And when it is time for school, like, let's say all the students, my sister and all of them will want to rush to school. I would also want to, because I don't want to be left. I don't want to be the one not to, because I don't want them to suspect that I'm not in school. So I would dress up. I had to go and get a school bag, I pretended I got a school bag. One thing about faking until you make it, there is a price to pay, because you have to, fit in. So I got a school bag. I was also preparing every time they go to school. I will also leave the house to school and just roam about. The money that I was supposed to use for maybe feeding or something else, I used it to transport myself to school, to just roam about, take pictures and things like that. And what this thing did to me was okay, I was already telling my brain, everything. I was already getting used to being a student, even while I was not a student yet. So instead of feeling, the need to want to be a student. I was already feeling that I was a student. So the zeal to kind of like pursue, like to the zeal for me, like the zeal wasn't there for me to like let me try everything possible to be a student. At that point, my focus was trying to cover my tracks, I was trying to see a way of making them think that I was in school. Sometimes I will avoid a whole lot of conversations because I don't want them to suspect that I wasn't in school. So the time that I was supposed to use to learn, to study hard, to pass aptitude tests, to get into school, I was using that time to see how to come up with things that will help me, like, God, I don't know, thinking about it makes it sound so stupid. Sometimes I would just sit down and think of what to do, how to make these people believe more that I was in school, instead of actually learning to be in school. Like, instead of actually studying hard to have admission to be in school, I was studying hard to see how to cover my tracks. So that was what that thing did to me, and a whole lot of people. Some people who believe in this, what's it called? Fake until you make it. People who believe in this, fake until you make it, they, believe. Sometimes, like, I'm not done with the story though, but sometimes people just spend time trying to, so that was what I was like, spending time trying to be who I wasn't, instead of, so in my mind, I was not using the right mentality for this. I was not using the right mentality. I was not using the fake until you make it the right way. I was using it the wrong way. So one day, my man saw my conversations with one of those guys I told that I was in school, one of those people, and was surprised, like, am I in school? Like, when did I enter school? Because I was still studying to write JAM. So I told him that it's one of those, fake until you make it kind of a thing. He said, no, that is not right. That you can't, it doesn't help. It doesn't help me in any way. He looked at me, he knew that, no, it's not helping me in any way, because I'm not seeing the reality. It's not allowing me to see the reality the way it is. I am not a student yet, and I'm already telling people I'm already feeling like I'm a student. That's why I'm not studying hard, because I'm already feeling that I am a student. So it doesn't really matter to me. Like, I'm not trying to prove to anybody again, because okay, it makes me feel good. So why do I study hard? Now what I'm doing, I'm trying to come up with more lies to cover my tracks, instead of, so he made me to realize that I was actually lying to myself, and it's very, very bad. He said, someone lying to me, it's okay, I don't have a choice, it wasn't my fault, the person lied to me, but lying to myself is the worst thing I can ever do to myself. So, and actually was telling the truth, because looking at the whole thing, I wasn't trying to, I did not see it as a problem anymore, because I did not see I not being in school. So it was telling the truth, because at some point I did not see it as a problem anymore. Not being in school wasn't a problem to me anymore, because I was already feeling like I was in school. So that mentality did not allow me to study hard. It did not, and actually that year I did not still have admission, because I wasn't serious. I was already thinking that I was in school. So my mind, everything was, I was lying to myself that I was in school while I wasn't in school. So sometimes, most of the time, I see people, some people are in this category. They just believe that they are faking until they make it. But in a way, they are not actually, they are feeling comfortable. They end up feeling comfortable in faking it. And it doesn't allow them to, become who they are faking to become. So I won't advise someone to, Personally, I won't advise someone to believe in this thing, because until you have gotten to a certain level where you believe, the reason, like your mentality is right. What the mentality you're using for this is right. Because if you're using the wrong mentality, if you're using fake until you make it with a wrong mentality, it ends up so bad. Like, you won't make it. No, you won't. You're just faking it, and you keep on faking it until you realize, or you are being told by someone that this is not helping you. If you want to be truthful with yourself, you know that it is not helping you, because you are not growing. What you are doing when you believe in fake until you make it, what you are doing is you are trying to cover your tracks. You do everything possible to cover your tracks instead of doing something to move forward, to become who you actually want to become. Here is my opinion on this. Don't fake until you make it. Be yourself. Understand where you are. Just know that this is where you are right now, while you are working towards becoming who you want to be. When you are there, everybody will see it. You will see it. Because when you start faking, thinking that you are going to make it, sometimes you spend your time trying to see how to cover your, protect your lies, protect the fakeness, instead of using that time to achieve, to work hard to see how to become who you want to be. So instead of faking until you make it, work until you make it. That's how you grow. See you in the next episode. Bye.